What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the DFS Dose YouTube channel. If you like what you see, make sure you drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel. Today, we're talking about the biggest winners from the NFL draft happened this last weekend, and we're looking at things from a fantasy perspective. We're going to count it down from 5 to 1. Joey, let's talk about the biggest veteran winners. Who do we got at number 5?
Yeah, I think it has to be your boy, Sam Darnold, the new quarterback for the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers decided to not draft Justin Fields with the 8th pick. They instead went with J.C. Horn, a cornerback out of South Carolina. And then they went out and drafted Terrace Marshall. So Sam Darnold, I think, is one of the biggest winners. He is going to have one of the better offenses that he's had in his career so far, with a hell of a coach and Matt Rule and Joe Brady as his offensive coordinator. Such an upgrade over Adam Gase. I think Darnold has some upside for 2021, and I think he is a very big winner after the draft. So shout out to Sam Darnold.
You know, Marshall's value itself might be a little complicated with DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson there, Christian McCaffrey siphoning off targets undoubtedly. But, you know, like you said, the biggest takeaway, they didn't take a quarterback with that 8th overall pick. So Sam Darnold, you know, major coaching improvement and absolutely loaded at every level of the offense in terms of pass catchers. So, yeah, I like Sam Darnold quite a bit. Let's keep it moving here with number 4 on our list, who is going to be Allen Robinson. Finally gets a real quarterback throwing him the ball for, I mean, the first time ever. God.
Yeah, I mean, he started with Blake Bortles. He then went to Nick Foles and Mitch Trubisky, but now he gets Justin Fields after the Bears traded to pick 11 with the Giants. They went up, they got their franchise quarterback in Justin Fields. I like the trade up. I like the aggressiveness to go up and get a guy that could change the Bears franchise. The Bears haven't had a good quarterback in forever, it seems like. And Justin Fields, I think, is the guy that can come in and change the tide of the Bears franchise. And Allen Robinson, I mean, he's got to be a winner with this upgrade at quarterback. I know we both think that Justin Fields is the starter no matter what the Bears front office says. You don't go into week 1 with Andy Dalton as your starter, I don't think. So Allen Robinson, shout out to him, one of my favorite wide receivers, clear-cut winner in terms of fantasy football for 2021.
And yeah, there was a lot of speculation that the Bears would go wide receiver at 20. You know, people weren't anticipating them making a trade up all the way to 11, but that's what they did. And they ended up not taking a wide receiver until the 6th round. So, you know, in terms of targets, yeah, Darnell Mooney will get his. You know, Anthony Miller may or may not get his. Who knows? He could be traded before the season starts. What we do know is that Justin Fields is going to be throwing the ball to Allen Robinson as the clear-cut alpha in Chicago. I mean, it'd be hard to find a better winner, but we have a couple more that we're going to throw out there, and one of them is Jalen Hurts. I mean, I've been talking about Jalen Hurts for God, who knows how long, man. I've been on the Jalen Hurts train. It's documented. You can go back in the podcast history and find
That's facts.
I love this kid, Jalen Hurts. And, you know, the way that Philly and the coaching staff and Nick Sirianni has been disrespecting him, it's not cool. You know, I don't understand it, saying, oh, you know, we might bring in some competition. All right, you know, it's going to be a camp battle. All right, a camp battle with who? Right.
Joe Flacco.
yeah, exactly. Joe Flacco. You know, even people as recently as 2 weeks ago were mocking the Eagles making a surprise quarterback pick. I don't see why they would. Jalen Hurts is a stud. He's a dual threat. And, you know, just the addition of Devontae Smith and the fact that they faded a quarterback in this draft, you know, it just speaks levels to their confidence in Jalen Hurts. I don't know why they've been playing this game, to be honest. He's a true stud.
Yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you. I'm all in on Jalen Hurts for 2021, and you definitely were on it first. Last season, you were all aboard the Jalen Hurts train. Now I'm all aboard it, especially for fantasy football. I'm on record saying I think he could be a top 6 fantasy quarterback in 2021 just due to his rushing ability. They go out and get him his alpha wide receiver 1 in Devontae Smith. They still have Jalen Reagor, Dallas Goedert, Miles Sanders. They also went out and drafted Kenny Gainwell. So I think Jalen Hurts is set up to have a great 2021. And he's going to prove everybody wrong that has doubted him and saying that he's like a fringe starter in the NFL. No, I think he's going to be a good quarterback and a great fantasy quarterback, which is, you know, what we care about.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. We have a pair of running backs at the top of our list at number 2, Mike Davis, Joey. What is it about Mike Davis that you like here?
Yeah, I mean, it's just the fact that the Falcons went out and didn't draft a running back. So they gave Mike Davis what, a 2-year, $6 million deal in the
Mhm.
offseason. Everybody assumed coming into this draft that they were going to draft a running back and draft one highly. They did not. So that just makes Mike Davis one of the biggest winners out of every NFL player, I think, in terms of fantasy football. He should see volume as the Falcons starting running back. We saw what he could do in the passing game in Carolina when CMC was hurt, and some people call him 90% CMC. So
Mhm.
Mike Davis should have a sizable role in Atlanta. He should see volume, and we know that volume is king. Opportunity is king in fantasy football. So Mike Davis is one of the biggest winners, in my opinion, in the entire NFL.
Yeah, I think I need to check my bias with this one because I keep having trouble, envisioning Mike Davis as a guy who's going to get, over 200 touches this season. I like Javian Hawkins, who the Falcons added as an undrafted free agent early at the end of this weekend. But still, when it comes down to it, Mike Davis is the clear-cut RB1 on this roster of what should be a high-powered offense. And I think that we definitely have to consider him. If his value rises to, say, the 8th round, are you buying there?
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see his ADP being higher than the 8th round because it's currently what, the 10th round,
Mm-hmm.
or around, or in that range, I should say. So I could see him going in the 6th or 7th round, and at that point, I wouldn't have too many shares of him, but I still think he would be a running back that I would target if I couldn't get any running backs early. So guess for me, it would just depend how the draft plays out, how the draft board falls. Then I would target him, but I'm not going to be actively seeking out Mike Davis shares if his ADP rises to the 7th round.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that makes sense. And our number one winner,
Clear cut,
clear cut,
clear
Joey,
cut.
the man, Miles Gaskin. Come
My
on, bro.
son, my son.
Oh my God. Talk about a dub. That's a W.
A clear cut W. Miami doesn't draft a running back, or they
They
did.
did 7th round though.
They drafted a 7th round running back. Nobody's scared of a 7th round running back. Okay, he's probably not even going to be on the roster. Miles Gaskin. Oh my God,
Dynamic, dual threat running back.
winner in fantasy football by far. He's going to factor into the passing game. He was great last year for the Dolphins when he was healthy. He was a waiver wire gem. I know I picked him up, and I loved it. I loved every second of playing Miles Gaskin. So I think right now his ADP will rise at least 2 rounds, and even then, I still think I'm buying.
So yeah, I mean, even if Gaskin lands in the 5th round, I'm buying at that price. Gaskin was the RB12 in fantasy points per game last year. He had 16.5 per game. He's a receiving back. He can score touchdowns. This guy was averaging more fantasy points per game on a weekly basis than Chris Carson, than Zeke Elliott, who's a 1st-round pick in fantasy this year, Swift, Sanders, CEH, all guys getting drafted well ahead of Miles Gaskin. And I think will continue to get drafted ahead of where Miles Gaskin will land, even with an ADP jump. So the sky's the limit. We love the projection for this Dolphins offense. Tua bounce back, absolutely. Jalen Waddle, Will Fuller, Devontae Parker, Mike Gesicki. This offense and the potential behind it is absolutely stacked. And I think Gaskin could be the 3-down back for this team. Love him. Absolutely love him for fantasy.
I love Gaskin for fantasy as well. And he had 41 catches in 10 games. We know that the NFL is playing 17 games this year. If he can play a full season, I think this is a guy that could see 60, 70 plus catches, even with some of the wide receivers that they brought in. So I think the floor is very high on Miles Gaskin, and I think he has an attainable ceiling as well. We saw him put up multiple 20-plus point games. He even had a 33-point game last year. So he has a high ceiling and a high floor, and he's going to be a player that I'm going to target throughout the offseason, and that I have been recently too. So
Yeah, 100%. Thank you guys for watching the video. If you like what you saw, like I said, drop a like and sub to the channel. We will have a Biggest Losers video that drops tomorrow. So make sure you guys check that out as well. As always, we'll talk to you again soon.